1993 was a really tough year for my country, Nigeria. I vividly remember the widespread protests that happened during the annulment of the June 12 elections. I was just 10 years old. But for me, 1993 was not a great year. I am the youngest of 3 daughters. Growing up, we went to the best schools, traveled abroad for holidays, and had all the great things life had to offer. My mom wanted us to actually be very empowered, especially as we were all girls. 21st July 1993, tragedy struck. I lost my mom, and the result, in a few years after her passing, I had to leave one of the top private schools in Nigeria with only 2 options. First is to either go to a public school where I resided in Lagos or a missionary school in another state. I was very clear that a public school in Lagos was not an option for me. A close family friend had already told me to my face that he had heard of the situation of grass to grace, but in our own case, it was grace to grass. So I decided to cover my shame and go to Ibadan, Oyo State, to the missionary school. That was my second option. I chose this school because that was the school my mom went to, and the current principal then was my mom's friend while she was in school. This tragedy and many life events that followed really broke me. It broke me so badly that I almost took my life, not once, but twice. I cried myself to sleep many nights. I felt like I was alone in this world and there was nobody to help. It was a really tough time for me, but education saved my life. It did. How? I had several dreams where I had conversations with my mom, and she told me to give life a chance, to give education a chance, because it could make me someone in life. And if I decided to do that, I would see the difference it would make in my life. And so I took her word seriously and decided to give education a chance. I knew that the school I was going to wasn't exactly the best school in the country, but it was the school my mom went to. And so I gave it my best, supplemented it with extra lessons, and going to this school, this missionary school, made me complete my secondary education, and it paved the way for my university education, and my story changed afterwards. I was able to go to university and even finish with a first-class degree. And this was because every time I remembered the words of my mom, I always wanted to make her proud. Every time I struggled, I remembered that education was going to save my life. And if I gave it my best shot, I was going to be really successful. And that's what I did. Reflecting on this experience, this was what really ignited my passion when I learned about the low-fee private school space in Nigeria in 2016. When ݴ̀ᴜ, Developing Effective Private Education Nigeria, introduced this sector to us, it reminded me of the missionary school I attended as a child. This particular school was the closest to what we call the low-fee private schools today. Faith-based schools like the missionary school I went to, which was a Catholic school, form part of the affordable non-state sector that I got to learn about through ḻɪᴜ. My name is Olanrewaju Oniyitan. I am the founder and executive director of Seed Care and Support Foundation. SEED, Sustainable Education and Enterprise Development, commenced in 2016 as a social impact project with a pilot program in Lagos State. With the pilot program, we reached 715 schools in the 6 education districts of Lagos State. However, in 2022, we registered as a full non-profit in Nigeria. We are now Seed Care and Support Foundation. Our target is to impact 20,000 affordable non-state schools towards transforming the lives of 1 million children in Nigeria. My country, Nigeria, is the most populous Black nation in the world, with half of its 200 million plus population being less than 19 years old. With over 133 million of us being multidimensionally poor, which is a population of South Africa, Rwanda, and Ghana combined. Education, I believe, is the way out of poverty for us. Imagine the millions of children living in low-income, marginalized, and rural communities in Nigeria. We have millions of them that are out of school. In fact, there's no time that we quote the numbers that were not the highest on the African continent. We also have about 70% of children that are in school experiencing learning poverty.
What made us to start the school was just the passion to teach and to bring up new generation. When we came in here, this place was a village. It's not easy for somebody who is not so determined to come to this area, to come and found a school the time we came in here.
When we started this school, we started as ᴑᴜᴜ Academy, which I was one of the founder of ᴑᴜᴜ Academy. So starting from, we opened September 2007, and since then, God has been helping us. Coming down from our neighboring place, that's Adara, down here, it wasn't easy because there is water on the road. So sometimes we trek through the water down into the village.
Yeah, when we came here, it's not because we have anything or we had anything in place. Only that property, that landed property we had. And there was no means of getting any financial support. So we have to put in place one structure, a structure hanged with poles. And we built some coaches of block around it. The top of it is empty, or was empty rather. And it was always very tough. Whenever there is rain, it's always a problem. Rain will beat the teacher, beats the children. Many a times, water would flood our classrooms. There was no access road for even the tippers that could bring sand here. But during the dry season, we make sure we save some money. If it were to be one tipper of sand or two during the dry season, that the particular part around here was at least a little bit motorable. So it was then through that aspect or that access that tippers do come to this place. So we'll get some sand during the dry season. So we try, if it is 2 bags of cement, 5 bags of cement we'll make. And gradually, the first one we built was about 3 classrooms, which was not even demarcated. We just built the 4 coaches of block around the pole that we erected, upon which there is a roof. So we made demarcation of asbestos we use for demarcation, and we use it to cut the classes. But we make sure that every session we put something in place. So as far as the establishment of the school is concerned, that was how we started, and that was how we progressed in terms of structure. But we make sure that we don't relent in giving the children the best that we're supposed to give them in terms of academics.
With the ideological bias that founders of affordable non-state schools, that is, the low-fee private schools, faith-based schools, alternative learning centers, are all out to take money from parents, I decided to unearth their stories. In doing so, my curiosity uncovered many unsung heroes, the overlooked, that are doing their best to ensure they make a difference for children in Nigeria. I was able to see many of these school owners who wanted to make a difference, be the change, and ensure that no child is left behind.
You are welcome to 광 Star School.
My name is İᴏᴜᴜ, the proprietor and CEO of 광 Star Schools and College. 광 Star Schools is a school located in Amukoko community of Ajeromi Ifelodun local government. Our vision is to raise academically sound and morally upright learners, and we are committed to quality education that is affordable and sustainable. When we started in 2013, it was like a joke. It was in a room with 13 little children, and the 13 children have grown today to become great personality. And here we are now with over 500 learners currently in the school. Though the school has trained over 1,500, but currently we have 500 learners who are currently our students learning here, getting better, and also making impact in the society too. And as we speak currently, we now run the school in 2 annexes, one for Tona Street and one for Omololu Street, where we have our college. We are in the rainy season currently in Nigeria, and as a coastal community that we are prone to flooding, and we just experienced a 7 days heavy rain in our community here, which our permanent site got seriously flooded. And to put this thing in place, though we know we are prone to flooding, but this one that happened recently was so much, so we require a lot of funding. We need a lot of funding to put the permanent site in a position where it can be so conducive for learning. And why do we start this school year? A little bit of my story. I was one of those less privileged children in Amukoko those days. Going to school was an issue. In fact, from primary 6, I started fending for myself and taking care of my schooling myself, which is the plight of most children in this community now. Why is that a plight of most children in this community? This community is densely populated with over 500,000 inhabitants, and the vast population are children of school age and young adults. And do not forget that this community is saturated with less privileged, underprivileged, and low-income family who can hardly feed. So if they can hardly feed, how do they now educate their children? And the public school facility we have in this community can hardly cater for the majority of the children in this community. Then the private schools are quite high and out of reach. So having gone through all of this dilemma as a young child who grew and schooled in this community, I felt, or one of the things I felt was that we can have quality education in Amukoko regardless of the fee that is being charged. That's why I sat down and thought about it, that what can we do to make this community better? And to make this community better, we realized that one of the things we can do is when we empower the next generation with quality education, when we arm them with quality education, they can do better for themselves and their society at large in future. Okay, so that is our yearning for this community. We have a lot of challenges in this community, like court clashes, like hooliganism, teenage pregnancy, and when we look at the genesis of all these problems, it can be attributed towards inadequate education. So what we now do is that we want every child in Amukoko to have access to quality education. We have positively engaged our community leaders, our parents, and some other stakeholders, including the students, which has really helped us a lot.
The truth is that every parent's joy is to ensure that their child gets quality education. No parent or guardian would send their child to a school that they don't believe that they're getting the best.
Education is very, very important to me. To all my children, I say, this is my background, I must change it. That is why I change everything. And I thank God, I have 4 children. Enoch is one of my grandchildren. When I'm training my children, I will ask them, when they came back in the afternoon, oh yeah, go computer day. Go and use 2 hours there. Go this side. Go and use this. There's nothing they cannot do. Even both the cap, everything. They learn. I don't allow them to waste a single hour. I didn't allow them. That is my life.
Mo dem gba tí mo mọ́ mi débẹ̀ kò lè dá kankan kọ. Mo dem pé ngba tó débẹ̀ bí between 3 weeks mo ti rí changes láti gbà mo ṣá dúpẹ́ lórí ẹ̀.
The 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria indicates that the government will strive, as and when practicable, to provide free education, compulsory and universal primary education, free secondary education, free university education, and free adult literacy program. However, it is becoming increasingly clear that the government needs not to be the sole provider of education. The Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, estimates that 20,000 schools and about 1 million classrooms are needed to absorb the current out-of-school children in Nigeria, excluding the current enrollment in the non-state sector. And despite putting food on the table, these parents still strive to send their children to an affordable non-state school. But many of these children are currently left behind. It hurts. It really hurts. Every child, no matter the type of school they attend, deserves access to quality education. These schools might be the only option they have to get an education. And these children all have dreams for their future. They deserve better.
Mo máa dúpẹ́ ní ọwọ́ ẹ̀ fún àǹfààní tó fún ìlú yìí torí pé gbogbo ọmọ kan ló wù kó lọ sí public school but ní private school táwọn tó ṣí sínú ìlú Amukoko ń sìn ó ń jẹ́ ká rí yàtọ̀ nínú ìwà. Mo máa ń dúpẹ́ láti ara tiẹ̀ pé ó tiẹ̀ fi school sínú ibi bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹlòmíì máa gbà báwo lọmọ mo ṣe fẹ́ lọ school nínú woro níbi bẹ̀rẹ̀ bọ́ Ọlọ́run wa bá ṣe pé ọlá pé ó ń kọ́ àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ dáadáa àwọn èèyàn rí mú ọmọ lọ sí ibi bẹ̀ èèyàn tó fara ẹlẹ̀ láti fẹ́ máa kọ́ èèyàn ẹni ọ̀gá ni wọ́n ní lẹ́yìn Ọlọ́run òbí èèyàn ó tún wá ku èèyàn tó ń kọ́ èèyàn ní ìmọ̀ jọ́pọ̀ sí àbárí èèyàn tó máa kọ́ wa pé báyìí ni ọ̀tún báyìí ló sì most àwọn ọmọ àmà ti ṣìnà gan irú ibi tí ó school ẹ̀ wà again àwọn tó ń mu drugs wọ́n pọ̀ ń bẹ̀ bọ́lá pé tí bá ti fi ìbẹ̀rù sọ́ra gbé ẹni ọmọ tí ò bá ti lọ school ní within bíbí tí òbí ẹ bá mú kalẹ̀ máa arrest òbí ẹ̀ èmi kan lè wá bá mi ẹjọ́ ló bá ń bá mi sọpẹ́ bí àwọn máa sanwó yẹn díẹ̀díẹ̀ tí bá fẹnu sí ó dẹ̀ máa assist ó dà fún yẹn máa assist mi lórí mi.
People are even with enthusiasm, they go with happiness, joy. Say go to a school, go to that school. So whatever we do in the community, we do it with cooperation, and he has been supportive. So we don't want him to go. We want him to expand.
To expand, yes.
So that more children, because out of school children are many.
The school is performing well. as expected. And the community have been enjoying the services. When Aromeda started, few of us understood what they meant. And we align with them. And today, to God be the glory. Everybody knows that education is the bedrock of development. And since we don't have a public school in ɪṛᴏ, we are only opportunity to have few private schools around us. And we have been encouraging our parents that let your children go to school.
I will forever cherish the 10 short years I spent with my mom while she lived. But for the next 8 years after that, I almost lost my childhood. In fact, I almost lost my life. We must always remember that children are only children once. Education cannot wait. Every day we remain silent is another day a Nigerian child is being left behind. We cannot waste any more time. If we don't commit ourselves to solving Nigeria's education challenges together, state and non-state, we may reap a whirlwind of worsening education trends. We have to act now. When we break the chains of poverty now, we have broken generational change. All of us must agree that every Nigerian child deserves to be recognized and supported by government, regardless of whether they are state or non-state educated.
For the national anthem. 1, 2, go!
I am already fired up and taking action to ensure that every single Nigerian child get access to quality education. Many lives are being changed. I'm seeing the impact of the work we're doing at SEED through our school level, community level, and system level interventions towards ensuring that the ecosystem works for all Nigerian children.
I do not feel my school is ready for approval. Raise your hand. I feel that my school is ready for approval. Raise your hand. It's not nod your head though. Raise your hand. Okay, so we are all ready for the approval process by Lagos State, and so we are qualified to be in this room.
We've also gone a step further to mobilize pre-service teacher leaders to also impact this sector through their teaching practice and community impact projects.
My God, yes. This bridge is so long. Like, the people of this community are trying. Even the students of Afula.
You need to join SEED on this journey now. We need you to speak up, donate, volunteer, and partner with us. Quality education is a life-changing gift that unlocks opportunity and potential. Look at me. The chance I took to finish secondary school changed the course of my life. And now, I'm a positive role model to my twin girls and a force for societal change and economic progression for my nation, Nigeria. The legacy I want to leave is for all Nigerian children in low-income, marginalized and rural communities to get access to quality education, to thrive and succeed. I am planting the seed of education, the seed of hope. I want to be remembered that I fought for providing quality education for all children in Nigeria, because these children are 100% of our future.
When I grow up, I want to be a pilot.
When he was small, he wants to become a doctor. Now he has changed it to a pilot.
Ayé adá